Well, we are back again. It's July 8, 2026, and I'm wearing my Highway 400, Highway 11 interchange t-shirt, and that tells you that we're once again northbound on Highway 400. This time, rather than changing to Highway 11 by staying on this road, which sounds strange, we're going to actually be exiting off the road and staying on the Highway 400. So we're going to be heading north into cottage country, but via a route which is more to the west, running up beside Georgia Bay. So where are we off to this year is to the north part of Ontario and Quebec, to the point in eastern Canada, which is as far north as you can get by car, and eastern North America actually is the farthest you can get north. And at the moment, the Trans-Taiga Road, which is like the jewel in the crown of what we're going to be doing, is actually closed in a section because of a wildfire in the area. But I understand that these wildfire closures usually don't last even a week, so we're going to see if it opens again before we get up there. We'll be heading up the Billy Diamond Highway to Radisson in northern Quebec, and then coming back down the Billy Diamond Highway a little bit to pick up the Trans-Taiga Road. And once we're on the Trans-Taiga Road, if we're successful to get right to the very end of it, we are going to be about 745 kilometers away from the Billy Diamond Highway, and at a point where I believe we are going to be more far from civilization as it's possible to be in North America. There are no settlements on that road at all. There's no towns. It's a service road for Hydro-Quebec. The workers use it to check on the hydro dams and the dikes along that route. So not nearly as long a trip as the 2024's trip out west, or the 2022's trip out to the east coast, but it should be pretty interesting. It's going to be a very isolated place. Holly's back with us back there. I think you can see her lying on her special bed there. Hi, Holly. Want to say hello? And there's Sunshine. Hi, Sunshine. Sunshine's new to us. You won't have seen her before, but these two are a couple of characters. Holly still has a lot of PTSD, and she's getting slowly better. She's now thinking that perhaps I'm trying to murder her only maybe 10% of the time. Sunshine, on the other hand, is the exact opposite. She has all the self-confidence in the world, and is a typical Boston, full of energy and full of confidence. She likes to play with the big dogs. So anyway, got to show you around how we have the place set up back here once we get to our first destination, which is Sudbury. And then you can see what we've done to make this Toyota Highlander hybrid a kind of an RV, a tiny RV. And when we're on the Trans-Taiga, there'll be 3 nights, if everything goes to plan, 3 nights where we're we're going to be sleeping in here because there are no towns, there are no hotels, there's no civilization at all. We'll be boondocking.
And there are polar bears.
Well, I don't know if polar bears come that far south, but we are going to be sleeping inside to keep away from whatever bears there might be. So anyway, we'll touch base with you a little later on. Our first stop today is going to be a dog leash-free park in Sudbury, and after that we'll go to the hotel. Tomorrow we're going to take a look around Sudbury. It's a really interesting place. I don't think I've ever been there. Ramona's been there when she was young because often the school kids would be taken on class trips to see the nickel mine in Sudbury. Oh, you went there with your father? Okay.
Sister.
Well, often classes would go there, but yeah, my school never did that sort of thing.
Yeah, it was a trip out west with my family.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so we're gonna hopefully get to see some sights in Sudbury before we continue on to the northeast, and the next day I believe it is passing out of Ontario and into Quebec. So welcome back. Glad to see you here again.
Guys? Hi, you're a friendly one, aren't you?
You get the ball?
Well, we're lucky. We're going to get to do the underground tour. safely descending around 21 meters or 70 feet underground into our mine. We're going to be checking out the future of mining and answering the question of why do we mine here in Sudbury. On the back of your hard hat, there should be an adjustable knob. That knob will tighten and loosen your hard hat. And to make sure it is on properly, you should be able to tilt your head backwards and shake your head side to side without it falling off. And if you look around us, you'll notice the rock looks a little bit different. That is because we spray this stuff called shotcrete on top. Shotcrete is concrete that is sprayed on with a hose and it stabilizes the rock. And then underneath the shotcrete, we have mesh and bolts, which is used throughout the rest of the mine. And this helps us stay nice and safe down here. If you guys can all gather around and make sure you can see this TV screen right here. I'm going to play a short video before talking about this machine right now. Okay, everyone can see? Awesome. So the video doesn't have any audio, so you can feel free to check it out, but I will be talking to this machine while it goes. So this right here is a Caterpillar R1700XD, and it is a fully electric autonomous LHD. Now LHD stands for load haul dump, and that means its job is to load all the rocks into this big scoop, haul it around the mine, and dump it out wherever it is needed. Now this scoop I'm standing in is an 8-yard bucket, and it can haul approximately 15 tons of oil. Now, another thing I mentioned is it was electric. Now the difference between this machine's electric power and that one is this battery is not removable. This one is charged while it's inside the machine.
To get at the riches locked inside this rock, you first have to get the rock out of the mine. The first stop on our journey is a short leap back to a time when this area was covered by giant pines. The only humans who lived here were indigenous people who have been the stewards of this land for thousands of years. They left their marks on the rocks in the form of pictographs. Going back a little further in time, the next major milestone is a period we now call the Ice Age. The animals that were here then were adapted to the colder environment and lived at the edges of massive ice sheets stretching to the horizon. In fact, At numerous times over the past 2.5 million years, the Sudbury area was buried under ice over a kilometer thick.
The Inco Superstack, with a height of 381 meters, 1,250 feet, is the tallest chimney in Canada and in the Western Hemisphere. The second tallest freestanding chimney in the world, after the one in Kazakhstan. It's also the second tallest freestanding structure of any type in Canada, behind the CN Tower. It's no longer in use. Dismantling of the Superstack commenced in September 2025, and as of October 2025, the stack height was reduced by about 35 meters, giving it a current height of approximately 345 meters. It's too tall to be brought down with explosives, but is being reduced bit by bit in a 10-year operation. The current height reduction resulted in the Superstack falling from 2nd to 8th place for the tallest chimney in the world. The Superstack was built tall to try to disperse the corrosive gases over a wider area, and indeed were detected as far away as Nova Scotia. The Sudbury Basin was famously damaged by the toxic fumes of smelting, which killed both flora and fauna and turned the land into a moonscape. In the 1970s, Apollo 16 and 17 astronauts trained here because of the land's similarity to the moon's surface. Well, I mentioned that I would show you what our little mini RV looks like, so prepare to be amazed. This is the back seat now. That has got everything in it, from a power station down there to a folded table and the 4th jerry can of gasoline. There are 3 more jerry cans of gasoline behind the front seat. In the back, we have a plank of plywood under there with 4 inches of foam on top of it for a sleeping mattress and a bunch of junk. All kinds of stuff in there, and a space underneath for tools and a car top holder if necessary. Now the reason that this platform is elevated in the back like that is because that makes the plywood horizontal right through the back interior of the car, so it makes a pretty comfortable sleeping bed on it, being that perfectly horizontal. And we know from experience that a 4-inch foam mattress is a pretty good thing for sleeping on. One of the better mattresses you can buy, actually. When we boondock along the Trans-Taiga, all of this stuff has to come out. All of the boxes, the clothes, the cooking implements. The only thing that doesn't come out but gets relocated is the food. The freeze-dried food gets moved to the interior of the car to the passenger footwell. The dogs will be sleeping on the seats, the front seats, and we'll be sleeping in the back here. There is about 6 foot 5 inches of length in this mattress, so it's plenty long, but it's fairly narrow. So it's going to be a challenge. Only necessary for 3 nights, however, so we will make do. There is just nothing else available. We have a kitchen tent there, folding chairs. As I said, we had a folding table in there. So that's a lot of stuff. Up in our hotel room at the moment is the box that carries our clothing, and it will go here beside this dog bed. This dog bed is where the dogs lay down as we're traveling. And the rigid clothing box goes from here to here. And this plywood helps to keep the heavy spare wheels and snow tires from moving forward in case of an accident. This plywood here is what saves the dogs from being injured in a crash. So that's it. Exciting. Just be happy that you're not going to have to sleep on these, sleep on this mattress back here. We'll let you know what it's like in the end.